What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my buddy Phil from the Bulletcast, or should I better say Sancho Demera from Oasis Pro Wrestling? Is that okay? Which one?
I don't.
Which name should I go with?
My name's Philip. What you call it? That Sancho dude. He's bald. I got hair under here.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for the confusion.
Yes, of course. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm back. It's good to be back. We're back in business.
Thank you, Phil, for making the last minute call to appear on the podcast tonight. And sorry once again. I feel like a damn broken record. Sorry for lack of episodes, but for anyone who follows me in my career, my other job, it's been very busy the last couple months, last couple weeks specifically. A lot going on, so trying to find some free time. But hey, it's Thanksgiving week. I've been off for a few days, so I was able to recharge the batteries, have some a night off tonight, and record. And so, yeah, thank you, Phil, for jumping on. This is going to be, as you can see in the title of this podcast, it's going to be our WarGames 2024 predictions. WarGames is happening this weekend, this Saturday, live on Peacock, early time for us here on the West Coast, 3 o'clock, 6 p.m. for people on the East Coast. So, yes, Phil, thank you for making the jump on here. But also, happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble. Baby Huey, I don't know if you know this. You know what the most important part of Thanksgiving is? Besides, the loved ones and the giving thanks.
What's that?
The leftover sandwich.
Oh, so you're a leftover person. I mean, that's how you like to treat your leftovers into sandwiches. So, so today I just had just regular plates of more food, of turkey, stuffing, gravy, mashed potatoes, all that stuff, just on a plate. But
all that's on a sandwich.
Really? Okay. What kind of bread?
I like white bread, or what's the artesio or whatever that's called.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That? Yeah.
Okay. Got a little spice on it.
Yeah. But we're here. Thanksgiving, happy holidays. We're here to bring the boom.
Boom. Boom. Oh,
right?
Dude, let's be real. The Rizzler's the star of that group. I'm a total fan of the Rizzler.
I had no idea who those guys were, but big pop for all of it. I love it. I'm trying to see JBL clothesline him.
That's right, because Rizzler took a photo with Jeff Jarrett, and then JBL commented or posted what did he say? If Jeff Jarrett didn't punch him, I was going to clothesline that little kid or something. Yep. Love JBL. Well, I just saw he made another appearance in TNA tonight. Another clothesline from hell delivered.
Yeah, and JBL everywhere.
Yeah, he's making the round.
There you go, guys. There's your AEW and TNA talk.
Yes.
There you go. Gotcha.
Oh, man. But yeah, it's so much to talk about here. Like I said, this is going to be our predictions for WarGames happening this weekend. And as we talk about the 5 matches on the show, we'll talk about the build and kind of what's been going on TV the last couple weeks leading up to these matches here. So that's what we'll kind of combine it all, give our thoughts on WWE television for the last few weeks, and also give our thoughts on what the outcomes are going to be. And I don't know about you, Phil. Listen, I know everyone loves the Royal Rumble, and then after the Royal Rumble, it's WrestleMania season for the next couple months. And arguably, that is the most popular time of the year to be a wrestling fan. Rightfully so. WrestleMania is the biggest event of the year. After that, I think it's safe to say SummerSlam is the way they've been building it or using it for the last few years. It's like WrestleMania 2.0 around the summertime. But for me personally, I'm a big fan of this time of the year for WWE. Growing up, I love Survivor Series, and I love that the last, now is be the 3rd year in a row on the main roster, they've been using the WarGames concept. But I like this time of the year for WWE. Don't sleep on this time of the year. I'm a big fan of just, the Survivor Series concept and just the history there. And, it's the fall season. So what are your thoughts on just kind of this time of the year for WWE fans?
I mean, people will always say that there's a lull kind of around this time going into January before we get to the Rumble. I mean, Survivor Series, when I was growing up, Ruthless Aggression era, Randy Orton's the sole survivor, and he's going on that little run as the legend killer and whatnot. And a lot of makeshift teams, but that's kind of what Survivor Series was built around. These two guys are in a feud. We'll just throw them on opposite sides of the ring. They'll be in a tag match. I do miss the teams of 5 strive to stay alive. I do I do miss that aspect of Survivor Series. I was hoping, we got the women's War Games match, which we're going to talk about. I was hoping they would be put in the traditional Survivor Series spot, because I feel like there's more you can do there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Is I was trying to look it up. I'll have to. God, I forgot the top of my head. I was listening to Solid Monster, and he said, I don't know if it was 2001 or 2002 was like the best Survivor Series ever. And I know 01 was the Alliance versus Team WWF, and then 02 was the first Elimination Chamber match, if I believe. So I'll have to double check and look. And then actually I gotta look it up. Yeah, back in the day, as a kid in the 80s, I loved the old school Survivor Series where it was like 4-on-4. It was like a random team of baby faces versus a random team of heels, and they would come up with a team name for the night and just go at it. And ultimately, it was just for bragging rights, if I remember correctly, if they just whoever won. So it was like all night long. It was like one team versus another. And so, it was a different time era, like watching those. I know it was at the WWE Vault YouTube channel. They've been uploading a lot of those Survivor Series back in the day. So yeah, it takes me back as a kid, remembering all those Survivor Series.
Watching Killer Bees and Powers of Pain versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake and whoever else.
And then Ultimate Warriors team with the Rockers and oh my God, who's the other one? He starts randomly taping everyone with the masking or the other tape. Oh man, who was it? Oh, I'm drawing a blank here. It was just so hilarious. Let me see.
But the Survivor Series, like people are kind of complaining that the women's War Games was just thrown together. The history of the show was always kind of just thrown together.
Jim the Anvil Neidhart, that's what it was. The Ultimate Warrior.
that seems like something he would do. Yeah.
Yes, that was hilarious. So yeah, no, I'm with you. It's an interesting time right now with Triple H, head of creative now for the last couple of years. He's been able to bring the War Games concept up to Survivor Series, and it had its run in NXT for, I think, was it 4 or 5 years? And
Something like that, yeah.
Undisputed Era were involved in some way in all of them, if I remember, except for one. The last one was like Black and Yellow NXT versus 2.0 Era. That was the last one there. But yeah, I love the War Games concept. As a fan of also growing up in the 90s, watching WCW, and they do their version of War Games back in the day. Paulie Dangerously, the Dangerous Alliance, and the Team NWO versus Team WCW, and Sting came out, and just
the Stinger Squadron,
yeah. Oh God, the history is there between Survivor Series long history and the War Games long history. Just a great time to be a wrestling fan for both of those themed pay-per-views. So it's cool to see them working together. And at the time, let's be real, I thought when Triple H was able to get War Games on the main roster, that gave the Survivor Series pay-per-view or premium live event a boost that it kind of needed. Because there for a while there, when it was like brand versus brand, it got a little stale. It wasn't the same like appeal for Survivor Series. It was like, oh, it's coming up on the calendar. We got to throw something together. And, it's Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, but the draft was like a month earlier. So all these people who are on different shows a month ago are on another show now, and they're now representing a show that they just joined. So it was kind of a weird,
it just didn't feel for brand supremacy. Yes.
And they just joined that brand a month earlier with the draft. So it was getting stale. And I think the last cool one was when it was Team Raw versus Team SmackDown versus Team NXT. That was a cool year. Adam Cole and Keith Lee all had strong performances that year, if I remember correctly. And then, so the War Games concept, I'm glad to see it back now. However, I see some people starting to complain a little bit now. It's like it's on the calendar. Now they advertise it in advance. So now they're kind of forcing storylines there that maybe don't necessarily call for, like what Hell in a Cell turned into.
Well, with War Games, they have 2 rings, so you can't hide that you're reducing seats with 2 rings. So they have to let you know, like, hey, it's coming up. We're gonna do it.
Yeah. So I wonder, like, after this year, and they've been lucky. Let's think about it. WWE, to their credit, these last 3 years, or technically 2 years, but the last 3 War Games pay-per-views, they've had storylines compelling enough to lead to a WarGames match. So the first year, it was the OG Bloodline when they were all heels, taking on pretty much everyone that they were pissed off at the time, all the like main eventers. And then last year, it was like Team Cody Rhodes and his buddies versus Judgment Day. And Team Cody were all the people that were going up against Judgment Day at that point. So it was like there was like a top faction versus all the people that they were having storylines with. So it's all a call for. This year, this is probably the best reason for a WarGames match. This is now officially the Bloodline Civil War. I know there was a Bloodline Civil War a couple years ago where it was the Usos versus Roman and Solo, and they called that the Bloodline Civil War. This is the official Bloodline. You got 4 members of the new Bloodline versus 4 members of the OG Bloodline. This is exciting. This might be, I might be predicting Laura, this might be the best WarGames yet in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I look at it, and I mean, there are people that said, well, hey, we could have just done 4-on-4 because I mean, if you look at the old WarGames, it was 5-on-5, 4-on-4, 3v3v3. There are multiple incarnations, but and then they add Bronson Reed, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you know, there are other members of this family, so. You know, like okay. I mean, Lance. You know, he just got there. Shout out to him. Shout out to Lance in Hawaii. You know, that was the name I thought of, and then you know the rumor is Hikuleo was running around. So
and
all that other stuff. But yeah, man. I mean, this has the opportunity to be obviously the best WWE version of WarGames to date. But if we would have to look at like the last time WarGames before WWE happened, and this one, I'd say it'd probably hold up to the test of time, and it hasn't even happened yet. Yeah.
So I wonder, though, is WarGames going to happen like next year? Are they already thinking ahead? Like, are they going to make sure they bring it back again next year? I wonder. I'm just worried if they kind of do it too often, it'll kind of lose its appeal.
Like its luster.
Like Hell in a Cell was. Because Hell in a Cell started happening every year. It was just the whole pay-per-view was named after it. So it was like, oh, June is Hell in a Cell month. All right, well, you know, they're just going to take the whatever feud they can get to just throw it in the Hell in a Cell.
A couple of them worked.
Yeah, a couple of them worked. The Usos versus the New Day. That was a great tag team match.
That was a good one. Seth versus Dean Ambrose. I was in the building for that in Texas. That was great.
Seth versus Cody.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm just saying it's... But some of them were like, you could have done a regular match for that one. Yeah. So I'm glad they kind of like kept it off TV for a while, brought it back when it was needed, when the feud really called for it. So that's why the CM Punk Drew McIntyre Hell in a Cell match that happened in October for Bad Blood, it was very fitting and it lived up to the hype. It was perfect.
Can I put some respect on my guy Phil real quick? I mean, you're wearing a shirt.
Yes.
My elevator buddy. Him put some respect on his name real quick.
That's right.
A year ago.
Yeah.
Fired from AEW. Shows up in WWE. And here we are a year later. He had probably the best feud of the year and with only 3 matches with Drew McIntyre. One of the most hellacious Hell in a Cell matches we've seen in quite some time.
That was great.
Was about to step foot into WarGames.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Actually, shout out Drew McIntyre. I sent him a happy Thanksgiving message yesterday, and he responded back and said, thanks, man. Happy Turkey Day. So shout out Drew. He's doing okay. I mean, I know there's some reports come out. They're trying to figure out what to do for him creatively to bring him back. So I'm excited whenever he does come back.
Look, by all means, let him chill. Let him chill.
Oh, yeah.
Well deserved.
He worked story. He worked his ass off, arguably feuded the year with him and CM Punk. So
I know, and the half of it was just talking. Like that was the best
part. So no, I'm excited for WarGames tomorrow. I've been a longtime fan of the history, and God, if I had some more time, I wish I could watch some like old school Survivor Series or WarGames matches to watch that get amped up. I might maybe later tonight. Maybe I might throw one on. I always go back for WarGames. Obviously, the one Stone Cold was in when he was still stunning Steve Austin with Paulie Dangerously team. And then I gotta look up again which is the best Survivor Series. I want to rewatch it. It's been years since I saw the very first Elimination Chamber, so maybe we'll rewatch that one too. So like I said, the point being, I love this time of the year. You're right, Phil. Like, I think it's the soft launch to Royal Rumble season. So I love this time of the year. And also, this is the last premium live event for 2024, I believe, because next month, December, it's going to be Saturday night's main event, which I'm super happy they're bringing that back. And we'll talk about that too in a little bit, because Cody Rhodes technically is not on the show tomorrow. And I think that's why it's because he's going to be wrestling Saturday night's main event. And also, I think that's why he had a match on SmackDown tonight, just to make up for no appearance of him. I'm glad he got the WarGames match last year, so he can at least once compete in the match that his dad, Dusty, created.
Yes. Very
cool. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's do our predictions for Survivor Series WarGames. They didn't. Only was it Rhea Ripley this year was the only one who yelled WarGames. They didn't have like an official.
But she has the accent, so it works.
Yeah, it worked. It
only works with an accent.
Yes, exactly. So let's go ahead. 5 matches for the card, which I'm loving. These 5 matches. Get it done. I'm all for in and out. Watch a match, and then you got some downtime in between matches. Go to the bathroom, get something to eat, get something to drink. All that said, do some social media thoughts as well afterwards. So I'm all for it. Let's go start with the first match that I see here listed on Wikipedia. LA Knight taking on Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE United States Championship. Phil, this match kind of came together kind of last minute. They announced it last week, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. LA Knight's been very busy for the last couple months, kind of with this triple threat feud with Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. They were doing like a best of 7 series, and then it's triple threat at Crown Jewel. And so LA Knight was wrestling a couple weeks ago, and then out of nowhere, Shinsuke Nakamura shows up, attacks him. Shinsuke's back. He's been gone for months, but this time he's back a little bit different, all black, got some makeup. He looks like a Sith Lord from Star Wars. What are your thoughts on Shinsuke's big return out of nowhere?
So glad Shinsuke's back. One, felt like Cody and KO could have been thrown on Survivor Series, and we could have done this on the Go Home SmackDown, which was tonight.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Shinsuke's back. Look, I love Shinsuke. He's lost the aura that he once had.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
Even from like when in NXT. I mean, if you went to an NXT show and that song was going on, fire. He can't just come back and lose. I know LA Knight's been on a nice little run, but like even like when Shinsuke was feuding with Seth last year for the world title, I'm like, he can beat him. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. It's interesting. Shinsuke, like I said, he just returned, and all of a sudden he gets a title match like 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later. Like he had the promo last week and just called out LA Knight, and to me this seems very thrown together last minute. I'm a little disappointed with the build. Like I think Shinsuke should have came back maybe like a month earlier, like 6 weeks ago, attack LA Knight, but then let him go on a roll of winning some matches on SmackDown, build him back up to kind of build up his credibility, therefore then challenge LA Knight for the US title. But he comes back, has one match tonight against Andrade. He wins, and he has the title shot on Saturday.
He beat the WWE Speed Champion, of course. He gets the title shot.
But like, I just think it's just thrown together so last minute. So it makes you wonder, maybe was someone else supposed to face LA Knight for the US title, but those plans changed. I saw online some people were wondering maybe that spot was supposed to be for AJ Styles, but since he got hurt, so Shinsuke maybe was like a last minute replacement to give LA Knight a match at the pay-per-view. But you're right. Like it's a bummer. Like I think LA Knight's gonna win. You see LA Knight's got like the new little custom title, his name on the belt. Yeah. But with that being said, like he just won the title at SummerSlam, so he only had it for 3.5 months. And
I mean, look, Jey Uso had the IC title for not even a full 30 days.
I know. Yes. But that's the thing. Shinsuke Nakamura just comes back, but like I feel like at this point in his career, they just build him up to be a heel to challenge a babyface and just loses. So
he's in the Dolph Ziggler spot now.
Yeah, I kind of think that's what it's going to happen. He's just going to lose to LA Knight this weekend, and it's unfortunate because he just came back. He's got kind of this cool new look tonight after LA Knight rushed the ring after Shinsuke defeated Andrade. Missed him with the Black Mist, so he still got the Black Mist gimmick as well. So
this is what I think we do.
Yeah.
Give it to Shinsuke. LA Knight's always great with the chase. Have them if the card's looking right, have them run it back at Saturday night's main event. Have Shinsuke get past him, and then you just have LA Knight get it back at the Rumble.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think WWE sometimes, depending on the character, have trouble. They always do a good job of booking baby faces with the chase. But once they actually get the title, how they follow up with that, and that's been like an issue. You look at Bayley, leading up to WrestleMania, Bayley was hot, like, you know, her projection of winning that title. After she won the title, it just kind of fell flat after that. So we'll talk a lot about Bayley and say
the chase is always greater than like what happens after.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like that Motorhead song, the chase is always better than the catch.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I think, you know, my heart is saying LA Knight, my gut's saying LA Knight's going to win. Shinsuke is going to lose. At this point, Shinsuke is the type of guy who just takes losses now, and he's a credible opponent. But at this point in his career, he's just the guy that's going to take losses. So, all right, moving on up for the other mid-card title, the Intercontinental Championship. It's champion Braun Breaker taking on Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. I will admit, I'm happy for Ludwig Kaiser to get a premium live event match. You know, he's been busting his ass off working with Gunther for such a long time with Imperium. He's a great worker.
Absolutely, man. Like, he's super underrated. Like we went to one of those house shows at the Chase Center. His work, bro. When the camera's off, it's still impeccable. It's to the nines, you know.
Yeah. So I'm like I said, I'm just happy to see him get this opportunity for this match, and you know, it's for the Intercontinental Championship. And we kind of been seeing the three of them all crossing paths. Sheamus and Ludwig had were matches together, and I think before Ludwig got injured, he was gone for a bit. Him and Sheamus were battling for a minute, and then they kind of reestablished that feud once he came back. Braun Breaker, you know, we saw him cross Sheamus in the backstage area. Sheamus told Braun, you know, hey, that's the one title I still have not won yet. So that's still an ongoing story for Sheamus to win the IC title.
We're going on 2 years with that.
Yeah, which is great. So I hope he finishes his story at some point. However, I don't think it's going to happen this weekend.
No.
I think Braun Breaker is going to retain. I think Ludwig, unfortunately, is going to eat the pin here. Sheamus, I think it's going to win the IC title in 2025. Because I think that's arguably a WrestleMania moment right there. Also, I think for him to win the title, it needs to be a one-on-one match. Just for that clean one-on-one match victory win there. How about you? How you seen this match playing out, and even your thoughts on the build for it?
I think the build's been fine. I mean, Braun, I guess he's going to be kind of a tweener. With his character.
Yeah.
But this is the long IC title run that people thought he should have had before Jay beat him.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I'm all for it, man. Let Braun, it'll be a nicely paced triple threat, but then eventually Braun's just going to run through both of these dudes and move on to the next guy.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Braun Breaker, it's interesting. His character, it's like he wins a title, loses it, gains it back, and then that's how he figures out to be a better champion. It's like that's kind of like his story. It's like he wins a title quickly, but needs to learn how to be a champion, how to keep the championship, how to get it back. So that's kind of like another one. Like we saw that in NXT. We're seeing that play out here. I mean, I love Braun Breaker. I love, the same thing. It's kind of like in this tweener role right now where he talks crap to everyone, baby faces, heels, everyone. He talks crap to everyone. But when he goes out there, he gets kind of like a babyface reaction. He responds to the dog barking, like the Steiner brothers. So he embraces the fan participation, the fans embracing him. So that's all cool. So he's in an interesting spot right now, but his matches are super fun to watch. And I think this is going to be the hard-hitting match of the weekend outside of a WarGames match. So, and that's saying something because Gunther is also on this bill. So, so I'm with you. So I think Braun Breaker is going to retain. At some point, I think Sheamus will win the IC title, but it's probably, I would say, later in 2025. That's my prediction there. So, well, speaking of Gunther, let's go ahead and jump ahead. Third match for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's the champion Gunther taking on Damian Priest. And I'll just say it. I think this build's kind of sucked. It's been kind of a bummer, like underwhelming, I guess you could say. That's tough for me to say. I love Gunther. He's one of my favorite wrestlers currently in WWE right now.
There's some interesting tidbits here, though. I mean, they had that promo together. Damian Priest cut probably the best promo of his career. This is Damian Priest removed from Judgment Day. He's more confident in himself now.
Yeah.
He had made it to the mountaintop of being world champion. And we're seeing Gunther doubt himself for the first time really ever. Like, that's the real tidbit. Like, he asked Ludwig, like, do you see the old ring general? Like, not like asking him, like, don't you see I'm the old ring general? Like, he's asking, like, hey, do you see the guy I used to be when I dominated as a UK champion, when I became the longest reigning IC champion in company history? Do you still see that guy? So for there be slight doubts in Gunther, I think that's very interesting. But, I mean, he's the ring general for a reason. Once that bell rings,
y'all
all go no.
So I was just looking up here, just double checking. So this is a rematch from SummerSlam SummerSlam this year, however, Damian Priest was champion. Finn Balor interfered, so he came down to the ringside, and when Damian was trying to pin Gunther, he grabbed Gunther's leg, put it on the rope for a rope break, and then let's see, Priest saw the replay on the stadium screen. Realizing that Finn Balor betrayed him, so he tried attacking Balor, but he was put in a chokehold by Gunther, and that's how Priest broke out of the chokehold. Instead of attacking Gunther, he continued to go after Balor. Gunther got him to another chokehold and lost the match there. So yeah, Finn Balor's interference cost him the title. So
I think this will be a more evenly paced matchup. But overall, Gunther, he's going to powerbomb him, clothesline him, whatever he got to do, choke him out, and he's walking away the world champion.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is just a rematch to kind of really just reset Gunther's dominance and give him a clean victory, because there was the Finn Balor interference back at SummerSlam. So I'm with you. I think Gunther's going to win cleanly here and kind of get back his confidence. And it's been an interesting build. So jumping back to earlier this month, beginning of the month, was Crown Jewel. Cody versus Gunther, champion versus champion. Gunther lost to Cody Rhodes, the same finish from Piper, Bret Hart from years ago. And so Gunther, had a rare loss here on the main roster. So it's been interesting. Since then, these last few weeks, he's been kind of like doubting himself, having lack of confidence, not being able to speak on Raw this week when Damian Priest was kind of running him down in that promo. So I think this match is the one kind of reestablish his confidence. I think Gunther's going to pick up the win, retain the championship, and get that clean victory win over Damian Priest here.
I think what it is, because how often does Gunther lose? Like once a year, right?
Yeah, well, technically lost twice now this year.
Exactly.
Sami Zayn and Cody. Yeah,
exactly. He took some time off, recomposed himself, won the King of the Ring, won the world title, and then went in there with Cody. I mean, sure, it wasn't a clean loss, but it was a loss nonetheless. And that eats at a guy like Gunther who takes this. He uses the term sport and all this stuff, and the mat is sacred. It eats at a guy like that. So
yeah,
I'm sure his confidence is shaken, and it's all gonna play out, man. I think Gunther needs to be the Dream Crusher. I think that he needs to hold this. I'd say probably past WrestleMania. Could you imagine? I'm fantasy booking now. We get to WrestleMania, Las Vegas. It's John Cena's last WrestleMania. This has been speculation that the 17th world title is there. He hits that AA 1-2 kick out. He's with the ref, like, what do I got to do? Turns around, gets clocked. Boom, 1, 2, 3. I think that's the run that Gunther needs to go on. This win is going to get his confidence back up, and then anybody that steps up from here on forth is just going to get knocked down by the ring general.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, well, it's a separate story. We can maybe talk about later, just talk about now. Yeah, John Cena. What John Cena's 2025 going to look like for WWE? I think the ultimate story there is he wins another championship to break Ric Flair's WWE record.
Yeah, the record. Yeah.
The record. So, but yeah, I think that's the story, and I think that could happen SummerSlam or something like that. Yeah. WrestleMania, it's all about Cody, Roman, The Rock, CM Punk, Seth. Like those five, everyone's predicting going to be somehow involved in the main events for both nights. So, but I think John Cena's story can play out till SummerSlam next year. So, but you're right. So I think Gunther is going to get the dominant victory here over Damian Priest. Damian Priest, though, I'm like, finally, he's breaking away from the Judgment Day storyline and doing stuff on his own. That's important. It's been okay so far seeing him, like, what's life for Damian Priest outside the Judgment Day storyline. I still think they got to do some more work. I do want to shout out, I like his little remix of his theme song with little Kerry King from Slayer guitar riff on there. So they shouted out Kerry King on Raw a couple weeks ago. So that was very cool for all you Slayer fans out there. And then, but yeah, I think that's the main thing. This is just to establish Gunther as the dominant champion, especially after that loss over Cody Rhodes, get back his confidence and go on a tear through WrestleMania season. I love seeing Gunther's world champion. That gold title looks beautiful on him. So it's good. All right, let's go up the fourth match of the night here. The Women's War Games match. So we have Team Rhea, which is Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and Bayley taking on Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. So, Phil, you and I were talking off the air and even talked about it briefly at the beginning here. This Women's War Games match really came together kind of last minute out of nowhere because I think even like for the men's, not to jump ahead to the men's, we kind of knew it was going to be Bloodline versus Bloodline. We knew that probably for months.
They started talking about that in the SmackDown after WrestleMania when Tama Tonga showed up.
Yeah. So the Women's War Games match, though, I think even like a few weeks ago, people were kind of like wondering, what's the Women's War Games match going to be? Like, people were trying to speculate, guess, but no one had a clear idea because they didn't really see. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Was it Becky last year? Io Sky, didn't she? It was. Let me see here. Let me bring it up. Last year's Women's War Games match was Bianca, Charlotte, Shotzi, and Becky versus Damage Control, Bayley, Asuka, Io, and Kyrie. Oh, see, that was 4-on-4 back then, last year.
Come on now. Mm-hmm. This was the thing I thought could have been a traditional Survivor Series match.
Yeah.
Teams of five strive to stay alive. And there's so much more you can do, like, what you call it? Oh, my God, Tiffany, throws the briefcase to Nia. Nia misses. Oh, Nia gets rolled up. She's eliminated, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So-and-so's incapacitated. Which, by the way, I got to ask this. Does the Money in the Bank have enough power to kind of overrule the match rules of War Games? Because the match doesn't officially start till everybody's in there. But
yeah,
Nia or Liv is knocked out. Can she cash it in technically?
I think so. I don't actually. I don't know what the rules are if you can cash in while.
I mean, Seth turned a 1-on-1 to a triple threat, but again,
that's right.
Different circumstances.
I don't know. You have to look at the actual rules of the cash in, because there was one stipulation where it's like you couldn't cash in. Oh man, I'm blanking now. I have to look it up. But yeah, that would be interesting if they do a cash in during a War Games match.
What if she tries and the ref's like no, and the Nia's like, "What are you doing?" Like there's some stuff they can do.
Yeah. There's something.
Jade Cargill got attacked.
So yeah, let's talk about this. So yeah, the Women's War Games match, like I said, like a month ago, I think no one knew like who's it gonna be. It wasn't kind of really clear, like the storyline. For me, like a month ago, I thought it was maybe gonna be NXT women from the women's roster there because they had like 5 baby faces, 5 heels facing off with each other on an episode of NXT.
Yes.
Ultimately, it just led to a 5-on-5 match at it was a 4-on-4. Excuse me, I'm sorry, 4-on-4. It just led to a 4-on-4 match at the ECW arena. Yeah. The ECW arena for that special episode on the CW for NXT. I was like, oh, because when I saw it originally, I wasn't watching NXT live at that time, but I saw like the 4 women facing off against the face. I was like, oh, is this gonna be a War Games match? Like they're gonna let these ladies take it out or settle it in a War Games match, like let the NXT wrestlers come up for the premium live event Survivor Series and handle their business there. No, it just but instead it was ECW arena. I was like, oh, okay, well that's cool. That's a way of getting a bunch of people on the show for that particular show. But then we kind of saw it kind of play out. We saw like Liv and Raquel after after Crown Jewel, after Liv beat Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Nia. But after that, we saw like all the heels kind of working together, because we see Nia now working with Tiffany Stratton for months now. Candice LeRae's trying to win her over, but also Raquel and Liv coming over. So it's like, okay, these 5 women are like having segments together. I'm like, okay, so that's gonna be the team of heels here. And then it's like all the baby faces that they're working against teamed up here. And at first, yeah, it was gonna be Jade Cargill, but then we saw last week she got attacked, taken out, and now it's like a classic whodunit story. Who took out Jade Cargill?
For them to tweet up the amount of injuries she has and what kind of injuries they are, Jesus Christ.
So now, yeah, and that's the thing. There's various reports right now. Is she legit hurt? And so this is just to write her off. Now there's other reports saying she's not actually injured. It's just all storyline. Who knows what's going to happen? Just enjoy the ride at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with this, people were like, okay, who did it? Charlotte Flair? That's a name that was thrown out
there. So, yeah. Let me ask you, who do you think did it?
So there are a couple things we can do. You can go Bayley's route, but Bayley just turned babyface, so to have her go back heel would be we haven't seen a heel Bianca Belair. I mean, sure, she did like her little heel stick in NXT, like, you know, I'm not necessarily like a mean girl gimmick, but just like, you know, I'm popular, like I kind of run this. We haven't seen like heel Bianca on the main roster. She's done everything you can. 3-time women's world champion, multiple time tag champion, literally everything you can do. I think that would be interesting. No,
okay.
Because I've always thought, okay, we're gonna get to WrestleMania 41. We'll do Bianca versus Jade. I thought Jade would be the heel, Bianca the babyface. But if we can flip it, let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay. So yes, I saw a lot of people speculating could it be Charlotte, because she's supposed to be returning soon from her injuries. So it would be interesting to see Charlotte be the one. That's a great way to get back into the main event scene, take out one of the top faces there.
Yeah, because Charlotte is a person that can be gone from a long period of time and people will still boo her.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was kind of thinking maybe it was Bianca to kind of break up the tag team. But then again, I was kind of thinking, well, she was wrestling when it happened, theoretically. But then again, if you think it's Bianca, she could have laid her out before the match started and then just ran back afterwards.
People are saying Naomi.
See, so my pick is Naomi. I think it's Naomi.
It's Naomi. We find out she did it, and then she shows up the next week with Solo's name in her hair. What do you mean?
so that's the thing. Let's see. I'm thinking it's Naomi because I'm with you. I think Bayley, she just turned babyface with the build to WrestleMania. But then again, post WrestleMania, they didn't really know what to do with her. So maybe they're trying to think, okay, she's better off as a heel. They get more creative storylines with her. I could see maybe they put Bayley back there, but I'm thinking it's Naomi because let's be real. You know, WrestleMania, it was Bianca, Jade, and Naomi teaming up. It was like the 3 of them. They were kind of like their own little faction. They're working together. But Naomi was always like the odd person out, the odd wheel. Like she was always like Jade and Bianca were the ones who win tag titles, getting all the attention. Naomi was always in the back, like I said, odd one out. She's in this tournament for the U.S. women's U.S. title, the tournament there. She's on one bracket. Her biggest threat was probably Jade Cargill and the other, or Bianca. Wait, was Jade in the tournament too, or is it just Bianca?
No, yeah. Jade was scheduled to be in it.
That's right. Tonight they had someone else fill in. So Jade and Bianca were arguably her biggest threats on the other side of the bracket. So what better way to get them out by eliminating both of them? So she takes out Jade, beats her up. She can't compete in the tournament. Bianca saw what happened, left her match, therefore got counted out. So you eliminated the 2 big threats from the other side of the bracket by beating them down. So that's why I think it's Naomi. And then that way Naomi could be the first ever women's U.S. champion. That way, she is a former champion in WWE, so she gets instant credibility to that U.S. title. But I think Naomi, a heel run will kind of do wonders for her. Just her character right now is a little stale, so it could really rejuvenate her and give her something like some new character moments out of her.
I'd be down. I mean, you know, killing 2 birds with 1 stone, smart move. You know, the wrestling is human chess. Be the king or queen, but never the pawn. So, I'm down. If it's Naomi and she can have a true heel run, let's see it.
Yeah,
because we tried with like Team Bad like 10 years ago, but
exactly. But listen, I know she got the glow gimmick, and there's a lot of great qualities about her as a babyface that people like. But at the same time, it kind of runs its course. And what better way to kind of reset the button on her and her gimmick and her character? You give her a heel run, something different. Let her go off on the microphone, call people out, and because you think about it, even Jay and Naomi. Remember they went to the NXT and they were posing with what's her name? Carmella Hayes' girlfriend.
Kehlani Jordan.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of moments where Naomi's left out, and I could see why she could be jealous, and that would lead to a heel turn. So Bayley, I know at first Naomi was trying to get Bayley on the team, but Bianca didn't want her. She didn't trust her. Yes. They have so much history because when Bayley was a heel leading Damage Control, they were going after Bianca a lot, and they had a
Not
great
even just that. It goes back to the pandemic when Bayley got hurt and had to miss a year. When I think they were going to have that Hell in a Cell match together, right? That's where it was going until Bayley got hurt and they had to use Sasha.
Yeah, didn't Bayley get hurt? If I remember, right before Money in the Bank 2020,
something like that, yeah.
Or no, she came back. No, excuse me, she came back 2022. Remember Triple H SummerSlam 2022. That's where she made her big return with Dakota and Io. So she was out. So it was summer 2021. She got hurt. That's right. She wrestled during the pandemic in the Thunderdome and all that stuff.
Yeah, because WrestleMania 37 was 2021. Yeah.
And she hosted in the 1 year in the Bella Twins.
Yeah.
So we watch so much wrestling, man. So much to keep track of. Right. But so anyway, what I'm saying here is I think Bayley, like, it's too easy to think it's Bayley because, like I said, she just turned babyface. It's easy to point the finger like at her because but she proved herself. She helped Bianca take out Nia Jax to win this week on Raw. So that way their team have the advantage going into WarGames. So she proved herself to get that last spot to replace Jade Cargill.
Yes.
That's what I'm leaning more towards Naomi, personally. I think it's Naomi. Now, do we find out who did it this Saturday at WarGames and get like a Dakota Kai moment where someone turns on their team in the night, or they let this play out a little bit longer over coming weeks?
I think they'll let it play out over the coming weeks.
Yeah. So,
I'm sorry. They do the old Triple H Shawn Michaels side by side.
Or Rikishi. I did that for The Rock.
hey, Naomi's a member of the Bloodline. Hey, she might have did it for the one of these tribal chiefs. We got somebody to keep up with.
So okay. So with that being said, like I said, this bill kind of came together kind of last minute. Rhea Ripley made her big return, was it 2 weeks ago, yelled WarGames and made it obvious. It's all the baby faces versus all the heels. And so that's the teams were formed right there. Dude, the women's babyface team is like the all-star dream team here. They're all former champions. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io, and Bayley. They're all former world champions here. Like, they're the best of the best in this women's division over the last, 10 years. It's hard to vote against them. And then you got to look at the other side. You got Liv Morgan. She's the current women's champion. Raquel, who's the big enforcer for her. Nia's the other women's champion. Tiffany Stratton, she's got a lot of potential, but she wins and loses here and there. She's a Money in the Bank winner. And Candice LeRae, amazing wrestler, but she hasn't done a whole lot on the main roster. I feel like it seems kind of obvious Team Rhea should win here, right? I don't know. Do you think the heels have an actual chance here?
I mean, maybe if heels have to win, it would be interesting for them to win this one. Have the baby faces in the other one win later that night and send the crowd home happy or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you look at it, Liv's doing the best work of her career right now, so is Nia.
Yeah.
I think the heels going over here would just legitimize them even more. Than it can allow the other individual stories to kind of move on. Like I said, Bianca and maybe Bayley just can't get it together with each other. And stuff like that, and that's what evidently cost it. And maybe Naomi and Bianca have a little clash. Like, hey, what are you doing? Like, let's go, let's do this.
Yeah. So that's my thing here is like I feel like one set of heels have to win on the night, and so that's why I'm thinking it's going to be the women's heels winning here because I think OG Bloodline's winning. Spoiler, not to jump ahead, but I like it's hard to bet against 5 former champions, which is Team Rhea right there. Like on paper, they're hands down the more dominant team, but that's the more compelling story is like they lose and then how they come back after bounce back after this. So I'm my heart is saying Team Rhea, but my gut is thinking the heels are going to win here because that could lead to some interesting stories afterwards and like the conflict between everyone. So I don't know. We shall see how this plays out here. So all right, let's jump ahead to the men's WarGames match. So it's Team OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline. We got Roman Reigns, the Usos, Sami Zayn, and now CM Punk taking on the current Bloodline, which is Solo, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Bronson Reed. So this has been in the works over the last few months, ever since Roman Reigns came back at SummerSlam. And then at Crown Jewel, we had the 3-on-3 match with Roman and the Usos taking on Solo, Jacob, and Tama Tonga. And Solo pinned Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. Big moment there. That was a big win for Solo. Personally.
He needed that.
He definitely needed that. And so the build for Crown Jewel and now WarGames, it's led to the whole reunion of the OG Bloodline. So Phil, let me get your thoughts first. Let's talk about the OG Bloodline, this whole reunion story that's been playing out over the last 6 weeks or so. I was gonna say, we see Roman Reigns. He needed help to take on the current Bloodline. He can't do it alone. He couldn't do it by himself. So he needed some help. Jimmy, came back, helped make the save for him. At what was that? Where Jimmy came back? That was at, let's see, which night was that? Where he
Bad Blood. Jimmy came back.
That's right. Excuse me. That's right. So Roman, Cody teamed up against Solo and Jacob. Yes, Jimmy showed up, helped out for the win, and Roman looked at Jimmy and says, "You called the play?" He's like, "Yeah, I called the play." So that's how Roman got Jimmy back. And then they started working on Jay. So they started, Jimmy started going to Raw and trying to win back Jay. And Jay ultimately said, I'll come back, but, we're all equals. Roman can't treat me like he did before. He stood up for himself, which I respected. And then, it's still, after they lost to Crown Jewel, they still need extra help. Sami Zayn ultimately came in, helped out, rejoined the Bloodline. He kicked Solo in the face. At first, they were kind of unsure if he was going to be on their side or not. What do you think of this whole Bloodline, the reunion of the Bloodline? Because I have some thoughts about Roman Reigns, but I kind of want to get your thoughts about it.
Well, first off, it's nice to see my family back together. For those that don't know, if you do know, hello. No, but seriously, man, I love how, we talked about this, I believe, in person at like a BTW show.
Yeah.
I love how Roman, he hasn't changed. He just has problems with other heels right now.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was so important to his character, because if he were to just come back and be rah, yeah, let's go, white meat, then it's 4 years of work is ruined.
But it's interesting. I was just going to say with Roman, though, you're right. He's still the same guy. He still said, this is my WWE, I'm not changing. At the same time, though, I feel like he hasn't really apologized for his sins. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. He didn't apologize to Jimmy, didn't apologize to Jay, didn't apologize to Sammy. There's one person he needs to apologize to, and that's the Wise Man.
For not being there when he got
answering the phone, yeah.
When he got put through the table.
He called him, and then it didn't go. It didn't go through. Then there was a few more weeks of the torment, and then he went through the table.
Yeah. So okay, God. Okay. let's talk about Paul Heyman in a second, based on what we saw tonight. And I'm glad you brought that up. So, okay, so Roman Reigns. Let's talk about Roman Reigns real quick. I don't think he's earned this reunion enough. Like, when Jimmy, came back, he's like, "You called the play. You called the play." Like, he was embracing Jimmy. Like, good job. Like, thank you. But then with Jay, he's like, Jay said, like, "I'll give you one. Don't ever talk back to me like you used to. Like, we're all equals here. If you talk, I don't talk S to me, get in my face.
Yeah.
I'll give you one time. After that, I'm done." So he did kind of get in his face once, and he's like, "That was your one time." So Jay is talking back to him, but like I said, Roman's never fully told Jay, like, "Hey, I'm sorry for the way I treated you."
Well, I mean, the reason why Jay's with them is because the new bloodline took away what he worked so long for.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up. So yeah, Jay, to his credit, he proved to the haters, the doubters, that he couldn't main event and win on his own, which he did. He beat Braun Breaker, became IC champion for about 30 days. New bloodline came and interfered with the rematch and cost him the title. So that kind of helped motivate him to go after the new bloodline, because he cost him his big solo title win. And also they did take out Jimmy too. So it was a double whammy there. I know some people were complaining. It's like, wait, he's more pissed off that they took his title away from him versus the fact they beat up his brother.
I mean, but you got to remember what his brother did to him.
Yeah, there's a lot of history there too. It's a very convoluted relationship. So yes, you're right, Phil. Very much so. So, like I said, so Roman and Jay have not fully, like, I think, settle their beef or their history. And same thing for Sammy. Sammy got kind of pulled into this because I think Sammy just misses that whole brotherhood of
the camaraderie.
The camaraderie. And so he told Jay, like, you don't need to do this. You don't need to go there. But then he came to Jay's rescue when they were going to take him out. The new bloodline was going to take him out, take his head off. So Sammy got kind of pulled back into this just to help Jay out and be there for him.
You see, that's the beauty of the bloodline story, man. There are so many different little other things that go on within this one giant story, all these relationships. I mean, we have to remember, like, Jay did not want Sammy in the bloodline for the longest time. And then when he finally accepted him, they were the best of buds until, Sammy put the chair to Roman's back, and then he contemplated turning on his family to side with Sammy.
Yeah.
We have to remember that. And then even though, like, he leaves the bloodline, goes to Raw, becomes main event Jey Uso, like, him and Sammy were cool on the Red brand. So they have an understanding with each other.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing where I guess the great thing about the bloodline storyline is all these relationships are not black and white. There's a lot of gray area, and that's how it is in real life. I think for anyone who watches this, we can look in our own personal lives, how our relationships are with our family members, with our friends, co-workers. Not everything is so black and white. There's some gray area. Things are not always perfect. You might not be cool with everyone, or you might have had some issues in the past, but you resolved it, but you're cool again. It's very representative of how people in real life interact with each other. And I think that's why this bloodline storyline really connects home with a lot of people. It's a lot more relatable because of that.
Yeah.
So, and I just, like I said, I hope at some point Roman earns their trust again, or how can I say it? He earns this reunion. Like I think Roman coming back, the big storyline here, obviously getting back to Ulafala at some point, but I think also this is his redemption story. And so I'm guessing that's what's going to play out probably throughout the rest of this year, maybe throughout most of 2025, is him trying to win back people. So, as we said, he got Jimmy, he got Jay, he got Sammy. So they got all four of them. They had the big pose off, throw their ones up on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. Great moment there. However, new bloodline, they added Bronson Reed. So let's talk about Bronson Reed joining them.
Well, that one's simple, man. He's been wanting to make a name for himself. What better way to make a name for yourself than joining the biggest story in the business?
True, absolutely, because he's had some great matches with Braun Strowman. He's had the storyline with Seth Rollins. And you're right, to kind of elevate his own career, he saw opportunities like, I'm going to join the bloodline, help him out. Now, I wonder, is this going to be just for this match, or is this long term? He's part of the new bloodline moving forward. I know on Raw, they mentioned, keep in mind, Bronson Reed, he's always been a mercenary, like for hire. Because remember when he made his debut on Raw, he helped the Miz. He was a hired gun for the Miz. So is he a hired gun for the Bloodline? I'm curious to see where Bronson Reed goes after this, after WarGames this weekend. Will he continue to be with the Bloodline? Does he go back to Raw and just does his own thing? So that'll be interesting there. So when the Bloodline became 5 people, I enjoy for the next couple weeks, Raw and SmackDown, they're trying to find a 5th person, but no one wanted to work with them. They're like, fuck Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns caused terror and havoc on that roster for nearly 4 years. So it's kind of similar. Remember when Jay went babyface and he went to Raw? No one at first wanted to work with him. Drew McIntyre was like dead against it. Jay had to prove himself that like, hey, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm a good guy.
Here's the thing: Roman don't got that time, and he's not that patient.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the interesting dynamic here. It's like Roman, as we can tell, as we said, he's like the same guy. He's like he just wants his time. As we talked with the build up to Bad Blood, he told Cody like he ultimately wants the power back. He wants the belt back. He wants all that back. So he's not changing. So like, where's this gonna go with Roman?
You saw him the sit down like he's making me wait. He's not a patient man. He's not a patient man at all.
So I really think this is the beginning of the redemption story for Roman Reigns. That pop when he came back at SummerSlam, it was huge. He is in his final form of what the superstar, all the powers that be that ran WWE want him to be. He is the guy now for the company. He is the number one guy. Or he's 1A, Cody Rhodes is 1B. Like he is it. Like he's got that cool factor.
According to Roman, he's number 1. Cody will always be number 2.
True. Absolutely. So with Roman though, I want to see this redemption story. How is he going to like pay for his sins in the past? And that's, I think, gonna be interesting to see here. So nonetheless, they talked to various people. Seth Rollins said, no, I don't want to be part of this. I can never work with Roman Reigns. I'm never going to help him because I'm not going to help him get back his power. He doesn't want that. So I appreciate what Seth Rollins had to say. However, on SmackDown last week, they come out, Paul Heyman returns, and he announces their 5th person is going to be CM Punk. What are your thoughts on CM Punk becoming the 5th man for Team OG Bloodline?
So for a second, because of all the beast talk that's been going on, I was like, no, they're not going to do that. If that music had hit, that place would have went bananas, but it still went bananas with the Second City Saint. Yeah. I love it, man. Just give Punk another thing to check off the list, and just it's something that people have been wanting. I mean, remember when Punk came back? He called out Roman Reigns. He said, "You're coming down off the mountain, and we're gonna meet someplace very soon." And here we are.
Yeah,
and the Spear GTS simultaneously on the Tongans, and everybody's throwing up the one. He has his prayer hands. Going up and stuff, which we need to see Jacob Fatu versus CM Punk for a battle of the prayer hands. But no, I mean, Punk said he's doing this for Paul.
Yeah.
Like, forget CM Punk's the original Paul Heyman guy. He coined the phrase.
Exactly. You're right. So no, when he returned and him and Roman are staring at each other at the ring last week on SmackDown, Roman's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I came back for him." He points to Paul, or looks over Paul Heyman. There's a lot of little Easter eggs people are speculating. So when Paul Heyman was on top of the apron, he like looks over at Jimmy and I think winked at Jimmy. And then what was it, 2 weeks ago? Sami Zayn, they were in the room. They saw the new Bloodline come out, and he took his cell phone out of his pocket, threw it on the couch. I don't know if there's something there. Like what's gonna happen? I think Sammy was just throwing his cell phone off. He's like, we're about to go battle.
Paul Heyman said it best when he was at Fanatics Fest. Everything the Bloodline does is for a reason. There was no moment of wasted television. So I've heard so many theories about the phone, like like how you can like dummy contacts, and like it can be somebody else trying to get your information. That's what they said it was. They said they just this a whole. I've seen so many crazy theories about that, man.
So Roman tried calling him 2 weeks ago, and it said the number's not working.
Remember, Solo broke his Roman phone.
Well, but that's the thing. It's like you can break his phone, but the number still works. You just need a new phone to put your SIM card in or whatever, or transfer the signal wherever. I wonder. For me, kayfabe, I'm just thinking maybe, after his phone got destroyed, maybe Paul just went ahead and bought a new phone, got a new number, start over. Some people like to change their number if they're just trying to avoid people knowing them and contacting them. So we know people who've done that, changed their number, and so so sometimes some people like to change the number just to like cut off a bunch of people in their life. And so I'm just saying, with that being said, so jump ahead to tonight, the face-off between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman in the middle. You're right. As you said, Roman was like pissed off. CM Punk was running late. He's like, what's up with this? Like, I don't got time for this. They sit down and, CM Punk more or less said what we all thought. He's like, hey, I came here to help my friend, Paul Heyman. And Roman Reigns said, what else did he say? I'm sorry. Now I'm blanking on their conversation.
Said he came back to help his friend.
Yeah.
And like basically a favor was owed. Like you get one, and there's a favor to be owed.
Yeah. Let me look here. Sorry.
Yeah. And then, I had it. Going with that favor, I sent it to you when we were talking about it. Paul asked CM Punk this back in June, like, if I do you this favor, what do you want? And Heyman was like, take me with you.
Yeah, so that's the thing. They're kind of going back and forth, like they don't like each other and all this stuff. And CM Punk is just confirming he came to help out Paul Heyman, and so, and he said he's coming back. Also, he's getting a favor out of in return for Paul Heyman. So he leaves. Roman asks Paul Heyman, "What's that favor?" And he says, "Oh no, don't worry about it right now. We'll talk about it later." And in the scene, man, if I'm Roman Reigns, I'd be like, no, tell me what that favor is. Like the fact he's just like nonchalant. Oh, okay. I'd be like, man. Let me see here. Oh, I got let's see. Starts with Roman upset that Punk is making him wait when CM suddenly arrives and says he doesn't have a whole lot of time. He's here for Heyman, not for Reigns. Roman says he's happy for the two of them, but he doesn't like Punk's tone, attitude, or him in general. He certainly doesn't want to tag with him. Let's see. Paul Heyman points out that Solo has had them in check since after WrestleMania, and without CM's help, it's over. Meaning 5-on-4. He needs CM Punk to be 5-on-5. And he points out to Punk that if Solo puts it into the original bloodline, he'll come after him next. That's a good point. Is if CM Punk doesn't help out, and if the new bloodline wins and gets like complete control of WWE, yeah, they'll come after CM Punk next. Because remember, before he was off limits, that was a deal. When Paul Heyman was with the new bloodline, he was CM Punk was the one that was off limits for him. Because he knows that CM Punk is the threat. Divided, they all follow Solo, but united at best, they will survive. So Punk says he doesn't care that Reigns doesn't like his attitude, and he doesn't like him either, and he wants his revenge for what Solo and his crew did to his friend, meaning when they took out Paul Heyman, powerbombed him through that table. Was that Madison Square Garden that night, that show over the summer?
Yeah.
If they survive WarGames, Roman wants to revisit this conversation. So there could be a potential match down the road between CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
I'm sure there will be.
Oh, absolutely. That's your SummerSlam main event right there, if you ask me. And they agreed that this is a one-time, one-favor situation, and they go to break. So, yeah, what is that favor that CM Punk asked Paul Heyman?
I mean, does Heyman leave with CM Punk?
Yeah, you're right. As you mentioned earlier. So yeah, keep in mind there was over the summer when CM Punk came out to save Paul Heyman from the bloodline. He said, what's that one favor? And he said, take me with you. And as you saw, Paul Heyman was like not sleeping. He looked like pale. His eyes were red. Gray hair. He was in complete stressed out working with the new bloodline. And he asked CM Punk, help me, take me with you. And so I wonder if that favor, as you just mentioned, is the favor is Paul Heyman using CM Punk to get out of the bloodline completely, OG and new bloodline. That's gonna be interesting. That could be
something, man. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think there are people that do want to see the babyface Paul Heyman Roman Reigns run.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So like I want to see Roman Reigns fully go babyface. He's kind of like tweener right now. And then yeah, I mean Paul Heyman, we barely ever seen him babyface. He's always been a heel. He turned on Brock Lesnar to work with Big Show. You turn on Brock Lesnar again to go to Roman Reigns. Like we've seen him, like he's never
turned on CM Punk.
Yeah, he's never been a babyface manager or representative. So it makes you wonder, like we think when he made his return last week, like, oh, he's going to work with Roman Reigns now, but as a babyface manager for him or babyface wise man. But after that, what this favor is, yeah, maybe the favor for CM Punk, maybe he gets a title shot down the road, but also for Heyman, he's going to use him to get away from the bloodline completely, cut off ties to both versions of them, new bloodline, OG bloodline. So
that could be a possibility because at the end of the day, Paul Heyman is a survivor.
Yeah, exactly. What'd you think about his outfit last week? It was like the black suit with the red shirt and the red little handkerchief in the pocket, like Solo's outfit. You think that's just mind games?
Probably, because that's what Solo was wearing when he was starting to embrace being the tribal chief, which, I mean, he just picked up and put on the Ula Fala. Nobody appointed him the tribal chief.
Exactly.
We saw Afa and Sika, may they rest in peace. They put the Ula Fala around Roman Reigns, and that's how he became the tribal chief. So I don't know, man. Probably just mind games and like showing Solo like, oh, you thought you were hard? Okay, I can be hard too. Like I don't know. Like,
Okay.
We'll have to wait and see.
All right, so who do you think's gonna win this match here? Team OG Bloodline or Team New Bloodline?
I don't know, man. They got a guy on that team that loves Solo so much, and he's crazy.
I know, dude. We all in the Bay Area, we all love him. He's one of our own, man. We love Jacob Fatu out here.
I love you, Solo. Uso. Oh man. Does The Rock show up? I think that's something we have to talk about.
Yeah.
Moana 2 is done.
Or is he filming the live action version, right?
He put on his IG. It's all complete.
Okay, cool. That bodysuit he was in, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and remember at Bad Blood when The Rock showed up and Solo was in the stands, like it's all coming together now.
What do you think that was when The Rock came back and gave him the 1, 2, 3, and then like sliced across the throat? Was it like three strikes or?
I don't know. I mean, there's so much that can happen with this match, man. Like Rock could show up, and then also Seth Rollins could show up. We know how much he hates Roman Reigns. Yeah. But we also know how much he hates CM Punk. His two biggest ops on the same team. You thought what Kevin Owens has been doing is crazy. Oh,
that's the thing. So yeah, Seth Rollins turned down the OG bloodline. He said, "I'm not going to work with Roman. I'm not going to help him out regain any source of his old power back." We saw what happened that the Ring of Terry was on for 4 years. But I think CM Punk joining the bloodline here, and if they win, that would motivate Seth Rollins. But like, F you, CM Punk. You helped that guy I told you I'm not going to help. And that can lead to their main event match for WrestleMania next year. Yeah. And CM Punk can finally get his main event match. And then, what was the other? So with OG Bloodline. So I think the OG Bloodline is going to win. That's what I'm getting at here. I think Roman Reigns and them are going to win because then if they win, then Roman can be like, I challenge you, Solo, for the Ula Fala at Saturday Night main event.
That could be something. Be something.
I think that will motivate a one-on-one match between the two of them.
I'll go with my tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Yeah.
Okay, good.
OG Bloodline. Come on now.
And then let's see what else. Yeah, so we talked about CM Punk, where this leads for him. It obviously could lead to a match. Yeah, you're right. Does Seth Rollins get involved? Does The Rock get involved? That's going to be great. Possibilities there. I think CM Punk's involvement, if they win, can motivate Seth Rollins to be pissed at CM Punk for helping Roman Reigns out. Roman Reigns winning, it will make up for the loss at Crown Jewel that Solo had over him, and it can lead to, I think, another match for Saturday Night main event next month. There's so many different ways this can go. So, okay, let's talk about that real quick. We After tonight, the next big thing is Saturday night's main event. That's going to be December 14th, live on NBC. That's going to be awesome. Cody Rhodes was on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon last night promoting it. Great little interview there. The full clip's on the YouTube page. Check that out. Cody not on the show, not on WarGames this weekend. He had a match tonight on SmackDown. He's going to be a Saturday night main event, which I think that's why they like kept him off this show because he's already. So he's going to be taking on Kevin Owens here. The build is starting to pick up now. It's starting to get good. They had a little face off last week on SmackDown, and Kevin Owens just like vented and said, like, dude, I don't like you. We were buddies, we were teaming up, but then you teamed up with Roman Reigns at Bad Blood, the guy who like created hell in my life for years. The bloodline
ran me over with a golf cart.
Yeah, so tonight on SmackDown, they went over some of those big moments. Like him and Roman had some really awesome matches like in 2021, early on in Roman Reigns' title reign.
Yeah.
They had a really great feud. I think they had like 4 matches together, if I remember correctly, like a cage match and all this stuff, and a Royal Rumble match. So Kevin Owens hates the bloodline. So the fact that his buddy started helping out Roman Reigns, the guy that he hates and was trying to hurt him in his career, Kevin Owens makes sense here. And then he took out Randy Orton a couple weeks ago with a pile driver. That was pretty intense. So yeah, Kevin Owens is like full heel now, but you do understand where he's coming from in all this.
Bro, a buddy of ours, Chris Jericho, has always said, what makes a great heel is if there's truth to whatever they're saying.
Exactly.
Bro, like, I mean, he documented it, and then like KO watches the show too. Like I love that. Like he addresses things that like happen like on the show that like the other superstars don't. Like he actually watches the television show, and I love it. Man, give it to him. It's okay. It's okay.
So that looks like that's gonna be the main event for Saturday night's main event. Like I said, December 14th. It's gonna be simulcast on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
Yes.
2-hour special. First one since 2008. And it's going to be at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. So in New York. So that's going to be cool as well. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, growing up as a kid, I remember Saturday night's main event. And then just, I believe in the video package, they use the old song. Was it animation?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So hopefully they use that for the actual show as well. So I'm liking this build now. Like at first I wasn't kind of really digging Kevin Owens. Like they were trying to force him to be a heel. Because remember a few months ago, Cody just told Kevin, "Hey, you should challenge me for the title." And they had the match, and Kevin was like, "No, I don't deserve it." But it's been like a slow build to turn Kevin Owens heel. So I'm really digging it now. I understand Kevin Owens, his point of view, and Cody Rhodes, man. You think about it, he's pissing off a lot of people. They're saying like, if Cody Rhodes ever goes heel, it kind of makes sense. He's been like kind of like this heel politician navigating, controlling things. I mean, so after Kevin Owens voiced his frustrations, he went backstage and Carmella Hayes said, he was right, man. And Cody got pissed. Like, what are you talking about, Carmella Hayes? And they had a little altercation pushing match and led to a match tonight on SmackDown, which Cody ultimately won. But you think about the track record, like, Cody politician Jay to come to Raw by moving Kevin Owens to SmackDown off of Raw. Like Cody Rhodes has been doing like a little politician pulling strings to get things done over the last couple years. Puppet master. So if Cody Rhodes ever does turn heel, there's been a long body of work subtly going on that people can be like, wait a sec. So if he ever has that Homelander type of heel run, I think it might be an actually pretty epic heel run from Cody Rhodes if it does happen. So
it is a possibility. But December 14th, Saturday night's main event, I think the American Nightmare is going to succumb to the Canadian Dream.
What Canadian Dream?
Yeah.
Real quick, with that being said, though, so also it's going to be the tournament final for the WWE Women's United States Championship. So that tournament's been going on right now on SmackDown. Also on Raw this week, they announced the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So 2 mid-card titles now for both women's divisions on Raw and SmackDown. Phil, you're shaking your head right now. What are your thoughts on it? Yeah, mid-card titles coming to the women's division.
No more titles. No more.
You think so? Or I mean, this is it after this? Or
No,
this
we don't need any more at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, shut up, Brandon, my one of my co-hosts on the Bullycast.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. This is the one thing we really agree on. Just you don't need any more championships, man. Like, and plus, like they've been kind of doing this thing about the men have one, the women have to have one, and all this other stuff. If we're gonna have mid-card championships for the women, we're gonna go on Netflix. We can't get a Netflix championship. We can't be different. That's kind of my thing. Like, don't just
their version of a TV title.
Yeah, something like that. Don't just like, oh, the men have this one, we can just do this and change the strap. Like, just it's like designs and just like be different. And it's a whole lot with me, but just the bottom line is no more championships. You win a championship, it is made to feel prestigious. We keep creating championships, everybody's going to get one. Then pretty soon it won't matter. Like the North American one down in NXT with the women, I feel like that works out better because I mean, look, I forget who has it now, but like Jada Parker,
Fallon Henley has it right now.
Yeah, like Jada Parker's coming up, and then Lola Vice, Sol Ruka, build those women up while Julie and Stephanie Vaquer can challenge for the women's heavyweight championship there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I'm with you. Like, I get a little worried. Yeah, too many titles. It kind of saturates the whole roster. But then again, I will say they do have a lot of female wrestlers. And what I do like with Triple H's system, you think about it, with 5 matches on a premium live event, not every title is going to get featured. So I like what he does in rotation is the weeks in between pay-per-views, he has like a different title that maybe not be scheduled for that premium live event, headline a show. So like, for example, as we saw, Jay and Braun Breaker, like their Intercontinental matches main evented Raw because they weren't going to be on the premium live event that next month. So I like how they wrote, and then tag titles been main eventing shows, which shout out, Motor City Machine Guns debuting, and we haven't had a chance to talk about this since on the last podcast.
Yeah, I'll throw that out there real quick. Man, loved the Motor City Machine Guns and TNA as a kid. I've had the pleasure of seeing them live. Shout out West Coast Pro, and just like to see those two guys in a WWE ring as WWE Tag Team Champions. Yeah, mind blowing, bro.
So the current WWE Tag Team Champions. So very cool. They kind of showed up in their third match. They win the tag titles off the Bloodline. So very cool. So, but yeah, that's the thing with Survivor Series this weekend. No tag titles are being defended on the show.
What the hell are we doing with the World Tag Team Championships?
I know. Judgment Day, their second title defense in how many months? That was crazy stat they said. But no, I'm with you. Like, I guess that's Triple H's, maybe his booking philosophy is like, okay, we have all these titles. And granted, yeah, they're not going to be on every premium live event, but instead they can main event Raw or SmackDown. So every week there could be something else main eventing the show in rotation. So it could be women's title, tag title, women's US title, Intercontinental title, like can rotate. So I think that's maybe the philosophy there. So
look, I've said this for years on my show. You have a world title for both shows. You have a mid-card title for both shows. The tag team champions can float. They can go on either brand. That's fine.
Yeah.
What you call it? If you want to have one mid-card champion that can float, that's fine too.
I just wonder
for the women.
Yeah, I wonder if they should get rid of the women's tag titles now.
Sure. Goodbye.
Yeah. Because I feel like the women's tag division, it's really just been more people thrown together, working together just to create competition for whoever the champion is. But now you have like these mid-card titles. All these solo wrestlers single stars can go after those titles respectively, not worry about the tag titles anymore. So I just wonder if the tag titles are not going to be as relevant anymore because of these mid-card titles. So
it's probably, I mean, when were they ever really relevant? Let's be real.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole great debate right there, discussion right there about that. So a lot to look forward to. Yeah, WarGames this weekend. Saturday night's main event next weekend, the crowning of both the new women's U.S. champion, new women's Intercontinental champion, and eventually, it's going to be December, and the build for Royal Rumble in January, or actually, it's going to be in February this year.
February 1st. Yeah.
That's right. And again, they got the tag titles. There's so much we haven't got into. I mean, DIY is falling apart right now. So I definitely got to get back on making weekly episodes and recapping all this stuff. So a lot of great stuff. As Triple H, or people fans like to say, Triple H is cooking right now. Is that what the cool kids say? I'm too old to be saying.
Yeah, well, Shawn Michaels really the chef. You see what's going on down there in NXT?
Oh, dude, NXT's great right now. I love NXT.
I mean, Shawn Michaels has history as a chef. We saw him super kick that little girl. I mean, come on now. Shawn Michaels been cooking. Been the head chef for 15 years.
NXT's great. It's all great stuff. WWE's doing awesome, and they got the WWE ID program going right now.
Yes, congrats to all the homies that are getting ID'd, bro, for real.
Yeah. So no, there's a lot of great stuff with WWE, and there's like supposedly I saw something online on Twitter. I haven't had a chance to confirm it, but maybe wrestlers, WWE superstars can work some indie shows as well. Which, if that's true, I mean, I'll look into it if it's confirmed or not. But hypothetically speaking, that's great, because if you don't have any main storylines going on, Raw or SmackDown, sure, we've seen some people go down to NXT just to stay busy. But even if you don't have anything on NXT, they just don't have room for you. Yeah, go work indie dates to stay busy. That'd be great too. So we'll see.
If that's true, I know he's a big star now, but I'm gonna need Big Goose to come back home one time. Come on now.
Well, speaking of which, Phil, yeah, you're on here, and I know you got connections to Oasis Pro Wrestling. I know a big show Saturday as well, but luckily timing-wise, it works out good.
Yes, Saturday, year 2, the Oasis Pro 2nd year anniversary show. Pull up, man! It's a long time in the making. The little engine that could is still kicking, man. Yeah. Oasis is doing some big stuff. You have Illuminate versus Starboy Charlie. You have X marks the spot match, Sean Sims versus Jason Xavier. You have a Fight Club match, Brett the Threat versus Surza. King Gaio versus Nick Xander. You have the Melanin Mafia versus the Ugly Dojo, and then your main event is a Blackout Neon match. The World's Freshest Tag Team versus THC versus Los Ricos versus SPS. A lot is going down year 2. You don't want to miss it, man. Mm-hmm. Oasis Pro, Gilman Brewery. We're doing it the only way we know how. Big.
Yeah. Any commentators for the show, or
probably Pollo Del Mar will be in attendance.
Oh, that's right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Gotta bring back Alfred at some point.
yes. Shout out Alfred, man. Called a hair versus mask match. Yeah.
At
the
kickback.
Yes.
Back in September. Yeah.
Yes.
Alfred's been doing great things. His YouTube channel is so spot on. He's spot on with so much.
It's been popping off, man. I love Alfred.
Yeah. So, and then go support Oasis Pro Wrestling. Like, we're very lucky in the Bay Area to have so many great promotions doing their thing. But Oasis Pro Wrestling, proud that they're making it 2 years now, and they got like a great home at Gilman Brewing in Berkeley, right there next to 924 Gilman, legendary music venue right next door. Great beer, great pizza there.
Yes.
Great vibe. Just the fans that come out to those shows really make it a lot of fun. So, support Oasis Pro Wrestling. Follow them on Instagram for future show updates and match updates as well. And check out Sancho Demira, that guy wrestling. I think he's got some big things.
Sancho will show up to where you train at and punch you out with a chain, bro. That fool crazy. That fool is wild, man.
That guy drove all the way to Sacramento. And
the intern drove. Come on now. Sancho's not gonna waste his own gas. Stop that. It's not the way Sancho. You think Roman Reigns is a narcissist? Jesus Christ.
Oh man, no, thank you, Phil, for so much making the time tonight and help out and get back out there. A new episode for In The Kliq. So much to catch up on. So tell the Kliqsters how they can follow you and keep track of you.
Bulletcast, the Bulletcast on Instagram, at Bulletcast on Twitter, Bulletcast on YouTube. That's where the podcast is. I've got some interviews I've been sitting on. I'm finally going to drop them in the month of December, so go check those out. That's Sancho guy, Sancho Demira on Twitter and Instagram, SanchoDimera. Go check him out. Melanin Mafia, man, they going up against the Ugly Dojo. Multiple bloodlines are going down on the 30th.
Oh, that's right. I got the Melanin Mafia T-shirt. Maybe I should wear that tomorrow. Maybe I should.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, you're right. I actually, Cliff Hendricks told me I'm part of the group. So
see, he doesn't make decisions though. That's he's not higher up on. He's not that high on the pecking order.
But
I don't care that he was trained. I don't care that he was trained by the WWE champion. He's not that high on the pecking order.
But I see you're a big fan. You're wearing Sancho's hoodie. Like,
I mean, Sancho and I, we like this, fire and ice, solid as a rock. Come on now.
Oh my God. So, oh man, I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. For everything else, at In The Kliq, KLIQ. Subscribe wherever we get your podcasts at. Subscribe on YouTube. Give a thumbs up on this YouTube video. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share it. All that good stuff in thekliq@gmail.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. And my goal is to get another episode out next week. Actually, I'm supposed to have some WWE interviews lined up in the coming weeks, but just subscribe. Fingers crossed. I don't want to say who. I don't want to jinx myself. But yeah, I'm supposed to have some interviews lined up in the coming weeks. So please subscribe, and we'll get those posted as well. But thank you for tuning in and all the support. And let's go home. And that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.